When I'm coaching agents, one of the biggest things I hear is that the income is such a roller coaster. It's such a risk to leave that full-time job. And I'm here to tell you some of the tips and tricks that I have found that absolutely help stabilize this income and give you the opportunity to make this a long career that you can absolutely have amazing success in. So stay tuned. What's up, guys? I'm Jeremy Kane with the Real Estate Agent Playbook. I coach agents on building business organically through social media, through connection, through sphere of influence. If you are interested in partnering, you like what I say, please book a call at the reagentwolfpack.com and we can talk about all of that, including how to get my coaching for absolutely free, my business partner Mike Sherrard and Louis Galt, their systems, processes, time management, social media, and AI training, all for absolutely free with an amazing community within the Wolfpack here at the brokerage. So if you're interested in that, please book a call, but also don't miss this Friday's YouTube video where I talk to one of my partners in the Wolfpack, Joshua Smith, about how he took his entire business and went all in on our model, on our group, and is absolutely having so much success. But for now, let's get into this. Let's stabilize this income and let's absolutely crush it. So here's the biggest thing about the income roller coaster within real estate. First of all, it takes 60 to 90 days to get a bona fide lead, right? And then once we get that lead, depending on the market, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get that lead under contract. And then we have a 20 to 45 day contract cycle. And so by the time you know it, you're 6 months in and you have one paycheck. This is something that, for new agents is something that you have to get started and get going. Certainly that's the norm. It's not the exception, right? But there are exceptions where maybe it takes 12 months or maybe you have 10 deals in your first 3 months. It's all over the board because this business is 100% commission. It's very much tied to the markets, and we don't control the markets. We just control our actions in our communications with the potential clients that we come across. So with that said, if we don't control the market and we don't necessarily have a salary or that stuff, it makes it very difficult, right? And it leads to this kind of roller coaster mentality. The truth is the roller coaster, the peaks and valleys mentality happens because we're so focused on getting leads and we're doing our prospecting. We get a lead or two going, get a client, get them under contract, and then we're so focused on that contract, on that transaction, we're making sure the dates and deadlines are met, but we forgot to prospect and we forgot to fill that pipeline back up. Especially as newer agents, this is the biggest piece, right? When you go under contract, when you finally get to that point, we have to manage that contract, but we also can't forget about the habits that we've created, the prospecting that we're doing, because we need to continue to that. So you need to add to your day, not just have the same day and shift your focus. You have to continue to prospect. You have to continue to have conversations. You have to continue to move people through, I hate the word funnel, but through your funnel while you are focusing on getting these deals to the finish line that you're already under contract. And when you can do that and you can remain consistent and you can stay focused on your prospecting and you can stay focused on your under contracts, you will start to see a little bit of stabilization. But then the problem comes that the market, right? The market dictates this, and we need to be able to shift our focus. And there's so much power in niching down, but sometimes you have to be aware and have forward thinking that maybe your niche might dry up, right? So you have to be aware, you have to focus on that. Just like, when it became a major seller's market, the first time buyer niche was a little bit slower. But then once the market shifted and now all of a sudden sellers were having to reduce their prices and offer concessions and all of that, the listing only niche shifted. And so yes, listings are still moving. It's just taking a lot longer. It's taking a lot longer to turn over that commission check. And so you have to manage all of your relationships, not just the under contract ones, as we move forward. So with real estate being hyper local, we have to see the trends and we have to be ahead of this, and we have to provide that value and the knowledge of the market, but we can't just outwardly, provide that value. Hey, interest rates are higher, buyers have some opportunity because sellers are providing concessions and so on. We have to look at our business and make sure that we are targeting the winners in the market. I'm not saying abandon your niche. I'm not saying abandon your past relationships, because if you know me, that's absolutely not the case, right? But if we're talking about this, we have to work through it. And that's exactly what I do with my partners. And if you're interested in partnering, please book a call at the RE Agent Wolfpack and we can talk about that. We can see what it looks like to be in a collaborative community of people that are forward thinking, that have accountability, that will help you take your business to the next level. So as we talk about this and we're like, okay, here we go. Well, there are certain brokerages that are kind of coming on the scene. My brokerage happens to be one of the largest at nearly 90,000 agents globally. And this is the revenue share model. And there's a lot of great things about it, and I'm not going to go super down into the weeds about this, but what I will say is, with an organization of 225 agents across 36 states and 4 countries, my hyper-local market may be vastly different than my partner John's market in Pennsylvania, or my partner Angie's, market in San Diego, or Ujel's market in Turkey, or Mark's market in Canada. So there's a lot of opportunities here that you can still maintain a, somewhat stable income because you're not hyper-locally focused. And whether that's in your own market and partnering with agents, but getting outside of that market and the non-geographically restricted, situation that my brokerage and my revenue share has, gives you the opportunity. Yes, when it's a little bit slower in your market, you're not pushing as much. You're not pushing the relationship because you need that transaction, because you need to put food on the table. Because we have this other revenue stream that's not tied directly to the Denver, Colorado, Northern Colorado market that I serve, I'm able to at least stabilize some of that and start to build momentum in the stabilization of my income. And so that's something that I didn't think about when I came over here and I joined the Wolfpack. But the truth is, as I've grown, I now see that, yeah, it may be a tough market. I may not have a closing in July, but if I have, a revenue share check of $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it might be, then that provides a little bit of stability, a little bit of, normalcy in my family's life and my business life. And so it really does help not to be geographically restricted to one market, because if I have one stream of income tied to one market that I don't control, I just have to put more hours in the day. And that's not why we got into real estate. We didn't get into real estate to, work 100 hours, not have any time with our kids. As my partner says, he didn't get in real estate to get divorced. And so we have the opportunity at this style of brokerage to absolutely do this. And so I interviewed Joshua Smith, someone who sold 7,000 homes in his career, but he has recently joined our crew, and you have the ability to be coached by both of us. But he goes through this in our interview in extreme depth and why he did this and why he chose this and his experiences. And he is one of the industry leaders in seeing the market and taking advantage of finding the winners in the market. Before the market crashed in '08, he was, managing and pushing for these investor relationships, sold thousands of homes, right? Because of those relationships as we move forward through one of the worst real estate situations that we will ever see in our career, and he did it. So finding that opportunity, finding the winners in the market, you can't miss that interview. Please check it out when it airs on Friday on my YouTube channel. But until then, like, comment, subscribe. I can't wait to talk to you. If you have any questions about stabilizing your income or you have ideas, that's what I love to do. I love to talk to agents all over the place, to build that relationship, to see how I can serve you and help you get a win every single day at the game of real estate. Let's go get another win today. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. And don't miss that one coming out on Friday.